Hi, welcome to Nightbird Tarot. My name is Brooke, and welcome to your weekly general tarot forecast for June 15th to June 21st. I hope everyone had a great week this past week. We're going into a new moon in Gemini on Tuesday, and then Sunday, of course, is Father's Day, as recognized throughout much of the world or in the United States, and it's also summer solstice, which is Sunday, June 21st, which is the longest day of the year, the shortest night of the year, and of course, it represents the first day of summer. So happy summer solstice to everyone who's watching. I'm so excited. Summer solstice is a very magical night. So I got some questions like I did the week prior to last week, and thank you for those that asked questions. I'm going to leave the Q&A at the end of the reading, and I will address those as well. And also for this week, I'm going to pick an added oracle card during Virtue's Healing with the Angels oracle card. So I'm also going to draw an oracle card attached to the reading as well. So of course I did pre-shuffle the cards before the reading. I haven't laid them out yet, so we're going to do that together and see what's in store for the week of June 15th to June 21st. What's represented in terms of the feelings or the attributes or the atmospheric elements or what crowns you for the week is the major arcana card Temperance. Temperance is all about flow and relationships. This can also be a card that is associated with diverse ethnic backgrounds as well. It's a card of cooperation between other people, the acceptance of other people, working together, and the flow and the grace that can be combined into these relationships. And especially if you are in a biracial relationship, if you have an ethnic background that's represented, whether it's in the company that you work for or something along those lines. And it's one of balance, of keeping one foot balanced on the earth and one foot balanced and grounded in the water, and being able to assimilate yourselves to bring along cooperation, balance, and the angles of different relationships and the cooperation. And it's also a card of guidance for this week as well. So already notably relationships may be prominent for the week, especially in establishing boundaries, cooperation, and also learning from one another as well, which is very important. Now, following this, you do have another major arcana card, and it's the Hangman. The Hangman is one of feeling indecisive about a situation or a problem, feeling literally hung upside down, feeling as if you can't come to terms about something, or you're not sure how to make a decision, or you have doubts, or you may be feeling that you're not willing to sacrifice all that you need to possibly sacrifice in a relationship or in an endeavor or whatever is happening in your lives this week. Possibly there may be a feeling of feeling hung up in the air, or feeling as if you're not willing to take that extra step in terms of sacrifice for a relationship or for a situation, because there may be a feeling for many of you that are watching of someone may be trying to pull the wool over your eyes this week, because you have the Seven of Swords, which has appeared, and you can tell literally by this card that he is sneaking away with something. He's trying to get away with something, with cloaking his face, and he has his knives wrapped, or his swords wrapped in his cloak, and he's looking over his shoulder. He's trying to get away with something. This is a card of deceit. This could also be a card of thievery. This is a card of betrayal, where you may feel someone's trying to pull the wool over your eyes in a situation. Just be on the lookout this week for possible deceptive tactics from others, especially in relationships. That may be the feeling as if, am I willing to sacrifice more of myself in this relationship? Am I willing to go the extra mile once again in this relationship because I may feel that the person I'm sacrificing this for is untrustworthy, or this situation could be untrustworthy with more than one person in terms of dealing with a group of people as well. Now, going forth into this week, there is a very positive outcome to this. So if you're feeling a little bit paranoid or a little bit nervous or a little bit worried, especially in the beginning part of the week, or you may even be feeling like, can I get away with this? Will I be able to, it might be coming from you as well, not just other people. Am I going to be able to slide by this time? Am I going to be able to possibly, get away with skipping out on whatever it is? So those feelings may be arising, and there may be people that are not willing to buckle this time and to give you another chance. Just keep that in mind for the beginning part of the week. Now, going into the middle and the latter part of the week is very interesting because it changes. It's turning, the focus is turning in the reading. And we have what is called the apprenticeship card in the Tarot deck, especially with the Eight of Pentacles. This is a card of apprenticeship. This is a card of beginning something anew, especially in employment matters. This could also be a card of the earliest beginnings of training. If you're starting a new job this week, or if you're entering into a training or some sort of educational class for on-the-job training this week, that may be notable as well. But this is a card of the earliest stages of something, especially when it comes to your career, to your employment, to your job. Something is notable, especially in the latter part of the week, of focus on that and the achievements from concentrating and paying full attention to the fact that in order possibly to make the sacrifices that you need to make, many of you may be realizing that you can't get away with pretending that you know what you're doing, and it's time to really study and take heed and do what you need to do in order to complete your task or to have the skill set that you need or whatever it is. It's like, I'm often the one who's very impatient when it comes to math. And I'm very good at math, but I have a love-hate relationship with math. I'm very lazy with math. So I want something that's a very quick and easy fix to something, especially when I'm sitting down and I'm figuring out how to do percentages and fractions and all that stuff. It drives me nuts. So, I just want to be able to read something and just be able to do it. But sometimes I also want to just kind of get by, or just kind of slide by with it, or kind of like be able to skate, and not really put my whole heart into it, because I just want it to be easy. And that's what this card is saying. If you're wanting to skate by in matters of your lives this week, that may not be the best choice, because you don't want to deceive other people into thinking that you have what it takes when you really don't. Fake it till you make it. Okay, that may work in some situations, but sometimes pretty much all the time people are pretty perceptive and may catch on to what's going on. And that's where getting down to business comes into play, especially in the latter part of the week. Now, following this card is a beautiful card of feeling very supported, especially in terms of within yourselves, of knowing that basically like mothering yourselves. Okay, and I often do this a lot. I've had to really learn how to mother myself from an early age. So, and I even do it now, and I'm a mother now myself, but I'll say to myself, okay, Brooke, don't freak out. You have to get this done, and then you can go and do this, and everything's going to be okay. So it's one of maternal instincts. It's one of motherhood, and it's one of being able to realize that sometimes in order to make sacrifices for your family, it's not being selfish. It's what you need to do sometimes. And so we have the Empress, which has appeared in the latter part of the week. So this is a beautiful testimony to going into the weekend, especially towards Father's Day and summer solstice, of recognizing the family support you may have around you, especially from your mother or from mother figures. This could even be sister, this could be aunt, this could be grandmother energies, and the home, and what you need to do to provide for the home, and what you need to do to sacrifice to make ends meet for the family unit or for the home. This is a beautiful testimony which is summing up your reading, because once again, going back to what's crowning you or your atmospheric elements for the week is the Temperance card, and this is a card all about being able to everything in life, and to have that flow and to have that balance in your lives of cooperation and guidance, and to being able to help one another and to recognize everyone's differences, but also to honor everyone's differences or what they bring to the table or their attributes as such. So that's a very beautiful reading for the week. I think it's really speaking on a level of self-sacrifice, what you need to do in order to succeed or progress, especially in the ways of making money, providing for your family, as well as getting along well with others this week. It's very notable as well, which is very beautiful. So I'm going to pull an oracle card for the week, Doreen Virtue's Healing with the Angels oracle cards, and see if there's anything that we can add to the reading itself for the week of June 15th to June 21st. We have miracles. Wow, that's awesome, because I don't know about you out there that's watching, but I need a real miracle in my life right now. So I'm happy to see that card. So we have miracles, and pretty much, as you can see from the card, I'm going to read the description, but she's being touched upon basically the light of the angels, or from the light of God, or from her faith, and that's the angel of miracles. And it's just a beautiful testimony to this week of don't worry. Don't worry about the outcome of something. If you are afraid possibly that someone is not doing what they should be doing and you have to keep an extra eye on them, the message is don't worry. If you feel as if, my computer went bing, if you feel as if you are not being given the respect that you deserve in relationships, and you feel as if someone's trying to get away with something, don't worry, because miracles is noted for the week. So I'm going to read this. Miracles are occurring all around you right now. Begin to notice them, and you'll experience even more miracles. This card is the angel's way of telling you to expect a miracle. Perhaps you feel the need that you need one right now because you can't see any other way to a solution. Once again, Be open to allowing God to help you resolve your challenges in ways that will surprise you. You open the door for miracles when you become willing to surrender, once again, the card of sacrifice, your fears to God or whatever you pray to or worship or have faith in. Visualize the angels carrying away the issue for you and feel yourself supported by God's wisdom and creativity. Be open to a miracle coming your way. So I think that's a beautiful testimony for the reading for the week, which is self-assurance and being assured of a positive outcome. Now, I'm going to go forth with the questions that a couple people did post for this week, and for those that want to ask questions for next week's reading, please feel free to do so, because I really love doing this part of the Q&A. I think it's fun. So please post your question below and I will answer your question for next week's reading. So we start with Petite Libra 925 asked, do you read reversed cards too? No. The reason is, when I started out about 22 years ago, I was so focused on the meaning of the outcome of the cards upright that when I tried to read them reversed, it was too much for me, because I also recognize in the tarot that there are cards that can have a very negative connotation that also have, for me, it was not trying to upset the balance of how I read, because I recognize that even upright there are cards that have negative meanings. It was too much confusion for me to read them reversed. I tried to read them reversed before. I know people do read them reversed. A lot of readers read the cards reversed. I do not. I don't feel it's necessary. You don't have to read them reversed, but I don't read them reversed just for my personal choice, but that's just what I do. And I've noticed, for me personally, I don't feel like I'm missing anything or any messages from the cards, but I do appreciate readers that do read them reversed, because it's very fascinating to me for the ones that do read them reversed. Can cards indicate the timing of future events depending on the suit? Very interesting, absolutely, especially in timing of the season. So if you're speaking of like the aces in particular, the Ace of Cups can represent summer, the Ace of Pentacles can represent, the Ace of Pentacles, they say, can represent spring because it's the earth sign. I beg to differ. I think the Ace of Wands represents spring. The Ace of Swords to me represents winter, and the Ace of Pentacles to me represents fall. That's how I read them. Now, if you do have major arcana cards in the outcome position, that can be very significant month or a very significant time period in terms of the 4 to 6 weeks. That window, 4 to 6 weeks, especially if you have a major arcana card in the outcome position like the Empress. These are weekly readings, but if you were doing a larger spread, like the traditional Celtic cross spread, if you had a major arcana card in the outcome, I would definitely say that's very significant for the month. So thank you, Petite Libra 925. Now next, I think it's pronounced reindeer, but it looks like Rihanna deer. Reindeer, Rihanna deer. Do you have difficulty reading tarot for yourself? I do now, because in the beginning, it was sort of like my own little secret when I was 20 years old and I started to read the cards, and maybe a couple of my friends knew what I was getting into, but I didn't really talk about it too much. So for me, that's how I started to read the cards. I read for myself. And I'm talking about obsessively. There would be nights where it was obsessive, like 3 to 5 hours straight, where you're sweating over the cards. And I was obsessed. I wanted to somehow discover something. I was looking for an answer on something, and I was pretty obsessive with the cards off and on for a good 5 years. I was very obsessive with the cards. I took them everywhere with me. I wouldn't let anybody touch them. But yeah, now I do have a hard time reading the tarot for myself, only because I don't do it that often. I'm more or less reading for other people now. But when I do, I find the tarot itself is harder to read for. But if I do oracle cards, like for instance, Healing with the Angels, I don't feel as if that's as hard to read for as the tarot, but now I do, which is very interesting. Is there a favorite tarot book that you could suggest to help with this? Because Reindeer was talking about the difficulties of reading for herself. Absolutely. You know, when I started out, I don't have many of the books that I had from 20 years ago, but the best books, and I have quite a few in my library, but really the best books are the old school tarot books, especially Arthur Edward Waite, who is basically the pioneer of the tarot deck that all the modern decks stem from. This is a very important book in terms of educating yourself, really. One book that I really loved a lot, and I've had this book since 1997. Look. 1997. It might be backwards on your screen. I've had this book a long time. The Complete Book of Tarot, a step-by-step guide to reading the cards, Juliet Sharman Burke, and I think she has other books on the market as well. This is a very good book. It's easy to read. It's simply laid out. There's exercises you can do. Excellent book. I've had that a long time. Another wonderful book that I really love, especially if I just need a quick interpretation of something that I'm stuck on, is Tarot Plain and Simple by Anthony Lewis. This is a great book, and it's very easy to read. There's no complicated words or mumbo jumbo, you know. It's plain and simple, as the title describes. And this is a great book that I think is interesting in terms of studying more about the major arcana cards. And this is Living the Tarot by Amber Jayanati. I don't know if I'm saying her name right, but it's a great book. And this book came out 1974. Oh, wait. 1993. Okay, sorry. This book came out 22 years ago. So I haven't had that book that long, but I ordered a used copy on Amazon because I remembered this book from when it did come out 20 years ago, and I reordered it on Amazon used, and it was only $6.95 used. But it's a great resource in terms of wanting to know more about the major arcana cards just themselves, and it's a wonderful book, so I really enjoy this book a lot. So, thank you for your questions. I hope everybody enjoyed your reading for the week. Happy summer solstice. Have a great new moon in Gemini. I'll be back next Sunday. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.